Okay, so let's go to the Auditor-General. Auditor-General Daniel Domelevo, on the 27th of July 2018, wrote a petition to the President, or a complaint to the President, and in the complaints, basically, he spoke about the, the board chairman standing in his way in doing his job, among others, and frustrating and also seeking to interfere with his constitutional independence in the job that he's supposed to do. Then he concluded, I'll just read just a little portion for perspective before we proceed. He spoke about, in paragraph 9 of his petition, he said, Your Excellency, I took an oath before assuming the office of the Auditor General that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana. I will uphold, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, and that I will truly and faithfully perform the functions of my office without fear or favor, affection, or ill will. The chairman and his allies are clothing themselves with powers to direct and control me unconstitutionally, and this must stop. I have therefore served them with a notice that I will not obey any unlawful instructions from the board, including existing and new decisions that are inconsistent with the Constitution as stated, supra. He had already said a number of things. Then he concludes by saying, Your Excellency, in May 2018, I had asked my lawyers to go to court to stop the chairman and his allies from interfering with my constitutional independence, but upon reflection, I thought it wise to attempt settling it administratively. This is because I have no reason whatsoever to believe that your administration is behind these infractions, and if I should file a suit against the chairman and his allies, it may be construed to mean your administration is behind these infractions. This is why I deem it necessary to bring the issues to your attention, and I hope to hear from you before deciding my next step, if need be. Yes, so, Kofi, from your reading, in fact, about over a dozen civil societies have come together and giving him support, led by the CDD, Ghana Integrity Initiative, Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition, and asking the chairman to back off, and asking the president to stamp his authority.
Yes, and we signed up to that. We totally support the Auditor General. You know what work we've done to try and help that office do the surcharge and the disallowance, etc. Mr. Domelevo has shown himself to be the right type of person, and to that extent we continue to support him. On this specific matter, honestly, there is already a debate as to whether the audit service should have a board. And if you read Article 1877, it says, in the performance of his functions under this Constitution or any other law, the Auditor General, A, shall not be subject to the direction or control of any other person or authority. That is a proposition that even the board is not necessary. But for so many other reasons, maybe let's have a board. On this, I would rather flip the coin. And when I flip the coin, what I mean is this. Mr. Domelevo should stop complaining about interference, because nobody can stop him. Nobody. Nobody can fire him, nobody can stop him, nobody can try and interfere essentially with his work, because he has every power to do what he wants.
Well, he says Professor Edward Driajman has been interfering. You said nobody can do that.
Well, so in effect, what I'm asking is this. What did you want to do, Mr. Domelevo, which Professor Driajman said you should not do? And with what power did he stop you? So I'm saying something, that much as we have that system, it's a legacy system, and in our system, we know, I always say that Juantua is the biggest problem in Ghana. People going to other people and asking them to speak on your behalf. So once you have a board, you're going to have a lot of those things coming in and going out. The Auditor General, Mr. Domelevo, should appreciate that. In reality, nobody can stop him. So he should actually act. In fact, I am one of the people who think we've seen too little action from his side. The reports that we've seen in the past, the ones that he has to act on, I know there's a court process, and by the way, we support his call for private prosecutions. If he has to do all the things he has to do, I wonder if he'll be able to, get much done given the setup he has. But he should start somewhere. So we need to see more action. We need to see him actually take advantage of the constitutional defenses and provisions that protect him. And yes, all those irritations that he will get from his board and other things, they are legacy issues, but that is why he's there. He should change it, go ahead and do what you have to do. I don't think anybody can stop him.
Okay. Now, Honorable News of Seni, he's saying that he's got a board chairman who is trying to issue counter directives, so to speak, attempting to commission an audit, which is not his job, you know, and seeking to, as it were, you know, devalue what he and his officers have already done.
Yes, and that's a legitimate point. And I think that Edward Dua Ajiman is misconstruing his functions as the head of the
board chairman
of the public service, of the audit service board. Yeah, the audit service board is also a creature of the Constitution. But you see that in determining the membership, the Auditor-General is part, constitutionally, a member of the board, and is not appointed by the president, the head of civil service. So just like so these are constitutional designations. They have been mentioned by the Constitution. If you read the composition of the audit service board with the functions of the Auditor-General created under Article 187, they are pari passu. He cannot even seek to control him. He cannot. Just like he cannot seek to control the head of civil service. He cannot.
What's the point of the board?
The board is for the service, the audit service. In fact, the Auditor-General is created as a public office by the Constitution. In fact, the Auditor-General himself is an office by the Constitution.
Constitutional.
The Constitution is an office. And so, and that is, I think that Dumulavo is very right. Somehow, Dua Ajiman is misreading the Constitution and thinking that because the Auditor-General sits in the audit service building, he is subservient to the audit service. No. The whole 4 members or so appointed by the president, okay, in consultation with the Council of State, is pari passu with the Auditor-General, and so with the head of civil service. They constitute the audit service board, and so there should not be a misunderstanding of the importance of that office. But what is that? You see, the Auditor-General, he's not a creature of the executive. He's a creature of Parliament.
The Constitution.
The Constitution. Yes. But works for Parliament.
Yes, reports to Parliament.
It reports to Parliament, not to the President. Because you see, why is this so? It's Parliament that gives money to the executive for the implementation of its policies, captured in the budget statement every year. So we have the power of the purse. And we are saying that when we give the monies and they are expended, there should be an Auditor-General who will ensure that the monies were used for the purposes for which we allocated them. And so he does the audit and reports to Parliament. His best allies is Parliament and not the executive. You should understand that. That he's working for us to ensure that when we make allocations, the allocations are used for the intended purposes. But he's perfectly right in the performance of these functions. As a public office holder, he's not subject to the control or directions of anybody. Not even Dua Ajiman. No. Not even the president.
I see.
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned briefly about this matter last week, and you said, like Kweku has said about Martin Amidu, since the presidency is seized with the matter officially, he shouldn't be talking in public. If he's doing so, that is bad faith. He should check out. You have actually taken some flack for that suggestion.
Well, I maintain that position. I can't move away from that position, except to add that the Auditor-General, soon after that discussion, put across some additional information to suggest that he is not acting in bad faith.
Okay.
And that if he is acting in bad faith, if I sought to suggest, then his chairman as well had acted in bad faith. And his reason was that
the chairman, that's not his chairman. The chairman of the Audit Service Board. It's not his chairman.
Can I? Today.
No, I'm just trying to.
Counsel, no, you are not trying to. Today you are for.
Okay.
I thought normally I would do that.
Okay, that's okay.
You will get a bit irritated and and I'll stop.
That's okay.
Thank you. So he told me that there's a cross petition from his chairman. Yes, that's what he told me. So let me start off from that point. It will be unfair. It will be creating Christine Ford and Brett Kavanaugh situation where we will listen to one side and say, oh, a compelling case, and then we forget that there's also another matter.
No, we are not listening. We are saying, look at the law.
Civil society.
Please
take it easy.
Go straight forward.
I'm going
Let's
straight
be
to
brief
the point.
about it. Yeah.
Don't create the impression as though somebody is being frustrated and he has petition. No. There is a cross petition, and the appointing authority is looking into that. Now, on the constitutional issue you raised, let us read 187 and 189 together.
Yes.
But before you come to 187, look at 186, which has to do with the Statistical Service Board. Where
No, let him finish. Go ahead.
Okay.
the government as statistician under the supervision of Statistical Service Board shall be responsible for etc., etc., etc. Now, if you look at 187, it talks about the office of the Auditor-General, which shall be a public office. Then you come to 189, the Audit Service Board. There shall be an Audit Service Board which shall consist of the chairman, the Auditor-General, the head of civil service, etc., etc. Now, if you are saying that your understanding of the provisions in 187 and 189 are separate and distinct, so be it. I disagree with you.
Please, read 189. No, you are there. 1892. It says the appointment of officers and other employees in the audit service other than the Auditor-General shall be made by the Audit Service Board. There's a distinction in the office. So you go ahead from there.
That argument you are making has to do with appointment of other officers.
It separates the office.
It's not other officers. It's appointment of officers of the office.
Other than the Auditor-General.
It's not even other officers. It's not like we have been crafted in Parliament. The appointment of officers to a public office
So
and appointment of other officers.
let's allow Afenyon to concentrate.
That does not
concentrate
suggest
on this detail.
Yes. That does not suggest.
Domelevo is saying that this is board chair who is issuing counter instructions.
Executive.
Calling my officers and giving them instructions in my absence, requesting documents without records to me. Does he have the right to do these things?
He has no
They
such
have
rights.
done audits, and he's seeking to question them or to even ask for redirect how it is to be
He has
done.
no such rights.
Samson, you see why we are being unduly unfair to his board chairman? We have heard his lamentation because he has come public. He has made public his petition. We are tilting in that direction. The impression this platform is creating per the submission of Kofi and by extension the question you are putting to me is to the effect that the board chairman is unduly frustrating him. However, the board chairman also has his issues. Which issues are before the appointing authority? Let's be fair. I agree with civil society. If civil society would want to run to the side of Mr. Domelevo, I have no problem with that. It's a choice we've made. But I'm telling you that there is another side to the same coin. What side is there? The board chairman, whom you are blaming, he also says, I have issues. And he's not saying that alone. He's saying that together with the other board members collectively. I want us,
including the head of civil service.
I want us to be fair. The board with its issue, the Auditor-General as an individual with his issue. Both issues are before the appointing authority. The appointing authority has set up a body, a committee to look into that. Would it be fair and appropriate for us to begin passing judgment? That I think no.
Nobody passed.
However, but your submission suggests that
the chairman has not denied the allegations. Do you recognize that?
Oh, I'm saying that there's a cross petition.
Okay.
No, if you don't know, I'm telling you that there's a cross. And the person who told me, hold on. The person who told me about the cross petition is the petitioner himself. The person who told me that there exists a cross petition and that he's not the first to go public on the issues, but that his board chairman himself, in spite of the cross petition, is also granting interviews. And that he's not the only person to blame, is the petitioner. Okay. I'm saying that let's give due process a chance. Okay. However, you've raised another constitutional issue. What is that issue? You are saying that, look, that man is independent. He doesn't need anybody to supervise him. He doesn't need anybody, any board to set up broader regulatory framework for his actions. That's what you are saying.
That's it.
I am saying.
Yes.
Kofi, you and I do it all the time.
Yes.
Let therefore, on the basis of this agreement, of this disagreement, I disagree with you because I think that 187 does not stand alone. Read it in conjunction with 189. But if you feel strongly about it, this is the time to test the law. Go to the Supreme Court. Test the law so that it will be settled once and for all. And I'm sure our law, the Supreme Court will be more than willing.
Thank you very much. Let's hear Kweku on this and take a quick break and return. You said 1 second. Yes, some 30 seconds. Do it.
Take it that I'm wrong.
Do it.
Test the law.
Thank you.
Ghana is the single institution that has taken on this office more than anybody that I know of. And we even got to the point at that time of going to court. We've tested, we've gone up against this office. The point we are making is this. The chairman of the Audit Service Board has the same right as any ordinary citizen to petition if he has a problem with the office of the Auditor-General or whoever is in it. So his petition per se does not change anything we are discussing here.
No, that's what I'm saying.
No, let me finish my one saying. The Auditor-General is saying that he's been interfered with, plain and simple.
But his chairman says no.
So the issue
chairman disagrees with
if he disagrees, that's fine.
But you are raising another important point. You are saying that constitutionally, you are saying that constitutionally, there's no need for a board. And I'm saying, yes, that's your point. You say
the constitution is there.
No, and I'm saying
it says no control of a person, group, or authority.
And that is the point.
My point is
thank you. Kweku, let's hear you. Like I mentioned earlier, thank you. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, the civil society organizations, when they came together, 21 of them signed on to a statement and concluded that the coalition wished to state unequivocally that it holds Mr. Daniel Domelevo and the staff of the Audit Service in high regard for the work they have embarked upon to ensure that our leaders are held accountable for how they utilize public resources. If we are going to seriously achieve a Ghana beyond aid, we need a stronger and more committed Audit Service and Auditor-General. We hope that at the end of the process, we would have taken positive steps in that direction. And they did say that they agree with the content of the petition and expect the executive to take an action against what Professor Auditor-General was doing. Yes, Kweku, let's hear you.
Any attack or any form of
let's hear Kweku quickly. Yes, Kweku, let's hear you. Sorry, don't reply him. Let's hear you. Yes, Kweku.
The civil society groups, did they investigate the issues before they came out with that position?
I suspect they may have done what they needed
should give us
to
a
do.
report. Let
I
them
suspect so.
See, I back this Auditor-General.
They said the petition, which has been confirmed as authentic, raises concerns about activities of the board of the Audit Service Board, the chairman of the board of the Audit Service Board, Auditor-General, and members of the board, amounting to interference with functions of the Auditor-General, and in some cases represent a violation of the Public Procurement Act. We consider these developments extremely troubling and a threat to the ongoing effort by the Audit Service to protect the public purse and promote public accountability.
That the petition is authentic. It's okay that he delivered it to the president. So it's authentic.
Okay.
The complaints in the petition proven
Thank you.
as incontestable by one side, in this case the civil society organizations. Is that the issue? I, in principle, I back this Auditor General. I like his spirit, his drive. You remember, even when he was appointed, there were a lot of noises, left, right, center, about constitutionality or last-minute appointments. I was for the so-called last-minute appointment.
Okay.
Beyond that, his own character, his drive, and the work he's done also has endeared himself to me. I like him, and I support him, and I think he needs a lot of support. But he sent a petition to an appropriate authority. There's been a counter. I've seen both. And he's responded to even the counter in a report dated 20th August. The one that the chairman and the board sent is August 6th. I have copies here. I'm yet to come to a conclusion. Okay? So in terms of the allegations of interference and things, that is subject to scrutiny, to critical examination, in order to determine who is telling the truth and who is not telling the truth. If you can judge on your own that your case is right, then why petition an authority beyond you? So as for that side, we should wait a while. But obviously, I read something that Sankuma wrote, you know, and then I woke up a bit. It appears that if we are not careful, we could have some constitutional issues to deal with.
Exactly.
Yes. So if so, again, we know the appropriate forum.
Yes.
And if eventually it means amending the constitution or the act and things, fine. But of course, a court's pronouncement may help. So that's the way I see it.
There's a suggestion that asking a head of that institution to go and head the board is creating the grounds for conflict.
That's laughable. No, that's you see.
Please, the question is to Kukubako.
That's laughable. That one, I thought that's his idea. That's his own concept. It has of no universal validity.
He has several.
I've heard it. Okay, and indeed he canvassed some of his views at a public forum, just the same way Martin did. I thought that was inappropriate. Once you've petitioned a superior authority, in this case the appointing authority, to deal with a matter, I don't see why you go out to the public forum and canvass support.
Okay.
But I say in principle, and for him, we should do as much as possible to keep him there.
All right.
His spirit is clear.
Okay.
He's the best person for that job now.
All right. So, yes,
and he should keep quiet a bit.
On the issue of the EO group and the docket that was mentioned, Dr. Dominic Ayene wants to place on record. He says, my role was to fairly review the docket. I did that and came to the conclusion that there were no acts of criminality for which prosecution could take place. The former DPP, that's Director of Public Prosecutions, Gertrude Akins, worked on the docket with me. So that's for the record from Dr. Dominic Ayene. Just a minute and I take a break.
Just a minute. You see,
why do you say
Article 187 is the Auditor-General. It has 16 provisions. Nowhere in the 16 provisions is the Audit Service Board mentioned. Nowhere.
Yeah, and who is disputing that?
Nah, so, no, I'm just saying that.
Functions the Audit Service Board executes.
I need to take a break.
Article 189 is the Audit Service Board. Its functions are clearly spelled out.
Okay.
Yes.
In that constitution.
Yes.
Okay.
You can't purport. You
but
can't
all
purport.
The employees and
So
other things,
the Audit
board
Service
appoints.
Board can't purport to be exercising supervisory jurisdiction.
Yes,
over
I
the
agree.
Audit
I
Service.
agree to
Their
that. But there are
petition
some
is like
areas.
the petition of
Okay.
any ordinary citizen.
There's a legal view that if the Constitution provides a board to work with a constitutionally guaranteed independent office, the board's remit is advisory only and not supervisory.
Even the
We'll take a break.
I even say that
We'll
even
return
this constitution
and find out
even
if,
this constitution doesn't say that they should work with the Audit Service or the Auditor-General.
if a Chinese star is rising in 300 villages with 3 million Ghana cedis tax waiver to kill the local industry. We'll be right back.